Viewers, last evening on the show we had reported how the Supreme Court of India had noted that there was material and evidence, not my words, the Supreme Court's words, material and evidence which tentatively supported one of the charges under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act with regard to the alleged liquor scam. The Supreme Court noted, now listen to me very carefully, the Supreme Court noted that 14 wholesale liquor distributors earned excess profit of rupees 338 crores in just about 10 months when the now scrapped liquor policy was in operation. Now just think about it, viewers. We are looking at a huge number, 338 crore excess gross profit. The commission is increased from 5% under the old liquor policy to 12% under the new one. It's a jump of about 7%. So under the new scheme, what these various wholesale distributors are able to collect is a whopping 338 crores of gross profit. Now, instead of passing on this benefit in the form of lower MRP, cheaper costs to the consumer, this margin, which could easily have been saved, is accruing to these entities, these private companies. Now, viewers, obviously some people will ask, why did the Aap government that claims that it works for the Aam Aadmi Party be so interested in benefiting these wholesale distributors, these private entities, and not the public? Think about it, viewers. Now, while reporting the development, I had asked whether it was possible that Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of the state and the Chief of the Aam Aadmi Party, was not aware of this great beneficence that was making its way to these private entities when it could easily have been passed on to the paying public, the tax-paying public. Remember, the Supreme Court made this observation while denying bail for the umpteenth time to Manish Sisodia, who was till his arrest the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi and Kejriwal's closest confidant. Viewers, you know Mr. Arvind Kejriwal from the time of the India Against Corruption movement, when Anna Hazare was fasting. The person always sitting next to Mr. Kejriwal was always Manish Sisodia. They have been like this from day one. Now, about 2 hours after I made the point and I sparked the debate and the Aam Aadmi Party supporter attacked me, the Enforcement Directorate issued summons to Arvind Kejriwal to explain this whole 338 crore transaction. The ED wants to question Kejriwal on November 2nd, and we are being told that the Delhi Chief Minister is consulting his lawyers on whether there is a way of avoiding the summons. I'm not saying this. Atishi Marlena, the person in the center of your screens, held a press conference, and when she was pointedly asked, will Arvind Kejriwal appear on the 2nd, she said that he's consulting his lawyers. But before we go further, let's recap what the Supreme Court said, because this is very essential. It said, and I quote, money trail of 338 crore has been tentatively established. The excise policy changed to facilitate kickbacks by enhancing commission from 5% to 12%. In this, viewers, the Supreme Court was quoting the charge sheet. In view of the aforesaid, we are not inclined to accept the prayer for grant of bail. What is the aforesaid? The fact that this commission fee was hiked by 7%. Then the Supreme Court said the rule of law applies to all citizens, including the state. So anyone who is employed with the state also must be answerable. Rule of law is a check on arbitrary use of powers. Were powers abused in this case to benefit private players at the cost of the public? Viewers, think about that. Rule of law secures legitimate exercise of power for public good. Now, let's look at why the Enforcement Directorate believes that Kejriwal has a role to play in the scam. So this is what the ED has claimed in its own charge sheets. This is not me making up any facts. The first reason, the ED claims, are video calls between the Chief Minister and Sameer Mahendru, one of the license holders. Reason 2, accused Dinesh Arora claimed he met Mr. Kejriwal. ED has claimed Vijay Nair was acting at the Chief Minister's behest. Vijay Nair is supposed to be and allegedly very close to the Chief Minister, and I'll get to his role a little later. Sisodia's ex-PA claimed the policy report was given at the Chief Minister's home. That basically it's the Chief Minister that signed off really in the company of another bunch of people on this report. This is all what the ED has claimed, what the CBI is claiming. YSRCP MP MS Reddy says Kejriwal welcomed him into the Delhi liquor trade. The South Lobby, you might have heard of this. ED believes proceeds went to AAP and could be made an accused. Now viewers, we've been digging deeper. We wanted to know what the Enforcement Directorate was going to ask Mr. Kejriwal. So we contacted our sources, viewers, and we have come up. This is what we've been told, that the ED has prepared a very specific questionnaire for Kejriwal and intends to pose some very pointed questions. And those questions are on your screens. Did Kejriwal ask Vijay Nair to pilot the policy because a top retailer refused to pay a bribe? Many people in the Enforcement Directorate are probing this angle, and they claim that they have the proof to corroborate that Kejriwal asked his very close associate Vijay Nair, who incidentally was allotted a home right next to Mr. Kejriwal's home, viewers. This is what we are being told the ED is going to focus on. Did Kejriwal set the contours of the new liquor policy at a meeting in his house in January 2021? And there were a number of people, including Satyendra Jain, who were present according to the ED at this meeting. And some of them, viewers, have been squealing. And there are CDR details, records, which suggest that this meeting took place, that all these individuals, including some others who shouldn't have been there, were actually discussing this issue. This question will be asked. Were changes made to the Ravi Dhawan committee recommendations at the instance of Kejriwal? Now, Ravi Dhawan panel was set up, and he had a problem with privatizing the entire liquor trade, saying that the government would lose a lot of money. As it turned out, viewers, huge recoveries that were happening earlier were not happening at the level they were happening for the government under the previous liquor policy. Again, that's a loss to the exchequer. That money could have been spent on improving Delhi, perhaps curbing the pollution in the capital. I don't know, many other issues could have been dealt with. Was Kejriwal aware that giving retailers 100% liberty to set sale price would allegedly lead to tax avoidance? Straight question will be asked by the ED. Did Kejriwal allegedly set a dream target of rupees 100 crores from liquor sales? In fact, that number is actually 1,000 crores, viewers. At least according to what the sources told us. It was a dream target. The 100 crores, that number keeps coming up because that was the value of a kickback, but let's set that aside. Was Kejriwal upset about expose by proxy petitioner in the Supreme Court on the South Lobby cartelization of the liquor trade here in the capital? Now, viewers, this was a very interesting issue. According to the Enforcement Directorate sources, a person who was a proxy for one of the individuals who thought that he was losing out in the licensing whole dissemination game asked a proxy to file a petition in the Supreme Court calling for the halt of the introduction of this policy. And Kejriwal, according to the Enforcement Directorate, was upset because they spoke to people who are close to Kejriwal who have told them that he was. Why? That's the fundamental question that will be asked. Was Kejriwal aware that draft of liquor policy had been allegedly leaked from the policy wing of the Excise Department of the government of Delhi? All these questions will be posed to Mr. Kejriwal. These are sharp questions, viewers. And his answers will, of course, as is logical, would determine the proceed, how the ED proceeds. The AAP has, however, accused the Enforcement Directorate of carrying out a witch hunt at the behest of the central government that is wanting to, in the words of the AAP, finish the party, as only the AAP can challenge the BJP nationally. Listen in to the war of words. The BJP immediately responded and there was a political face-off, as there has been since February of this year.
हर तरफ से खबर आ रही है कि 2 नवंबर को जब अरविंद केजरीवाल को बुलाएंगे तो ईडी उनको भी अरेस्ट करके जेल में डाल देगी। 2 नवंबर को जब गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा वो इसलिए नहीं किया जाएगा कि उनके खिलाफ कोई केस है, उनके खिलाफ कोई सबूत है। उनको इसलिए गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अरविंद केजरीवाल से डर लगता है।
जो ईमानदारी के सर्टिफिकेट देते थे उनका कैसे एक के बाद दूसरा मंत्री जेल गया और जेल के बाद बेल भी नहीं हुई, और साल भर से ये कभी सत्येंद्र जैन जी को, कभी मनीष सिसोदिया जी को, कभी संजय सिंह जी को, इन सबको ईमानदारी के सर्टिफिकेट माननीय मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी बांट रहे थे। सच्चाई ये है कि जब से सत्ता में आए हैं एक के बाद दूसरा इनका नेता भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त पाया गया।
दिन पहले मनोज तिवारी ने खुद अपने इंटरव्यू में कहा कि अब जो है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी और राघव चड्ढा जी को जो है गिरफ्तार करेंगे। तो ये तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की एक पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रेटेजी का हिस्सा है कि आम आदमी पार्टी के शीर्ष नेताओं को सबको जेल में डाल दिया जाए और आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म किया जाए।
भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ एक आंदोलन से निकलने का दावा करते थे, उनकी असलियत अभी लोगों के सामने आ चुकी है। उनकी कई दर्जन नेता जेल के अंदर है। मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, प्रमाण के साथ भ्रष्टाचार की तथ्य, ये सब उजागर हो चुका है। कई प्रकार की आरोपों में ये लोग घिरे हुए हैं, इनको बेल तक भी नहीं मिल रहा है। स्वाभाविक उस पार्टी की नेता जो एक प्रशासनिक इकाई के प्रमुख है, उन्हीं की सरकार की शराब नीति के बारे में ये प्रश्न है, तो मुख्यमंत्री करके तो उनको उत्तर देना ही पड़ेगा ना।
Now, of course, viewers, you've just heard some of those BJP top leaders, ministers really, and they've rejected the charge out of hand and have pointed to the series of setbacks delivered by the courts to the AAP. Now, let's go through some of those setbacks. In the process, repeatedly, Mr. Sisodia, since the end of February, has been applying for bail. And during those hearings, this is what the courts have been saying. Now, first of all, the SC denied bail to Mr. Sisodia, saying money trail of 338 crore tentatively established. Before this, the Delhi High Court denies bail to Sisodia. Charges are very serious in nature, it said. Role of third parties raises red flags. That was another observation that was made. The trial court denies bail then to Sisodia. That was much earlier, in the very initial stages. Release may adversely affect ongoing investigation. Prima facie, the architect of criminal conspiracy. That is how the lower court had described Mr. Sisodia. Delhi HC denies bail to Sanjay Singh. No proof. ED extracted approver's statement illegally. This is what he claimed, that I was being tortured, I was made to confess, etc. Can't insinuate political motive to ED without proof. Now, viewers, all of this, of course, is true, but that doesn't also mean that the ED's case is watertight. It has a lot of convincing to do. And let me tell you, the ED made some claims. It says bribe of 2.2 crore was paid to Sisodia by Amit Arora via middleman Dinesh Arora. The Supreme Court has said may be difficult to regard the alleged payment as proceeds of crime. So here, the ED has work to do. It needs to make that link. The Enforcement Directorate claimed the proceeds of crime were used to fund AAP's poll campaign in Goa. This is what the Enforcement Directorate said. The Supreme Court said prima facie there is lack of clarity on the role of Sisodia in the transfer of rupees 45 crores to AAP for polls, especially polls that were to be conducted in Goa. The ED claimed 100 crore paid as kickback. This is what it claimed. The Supreme Court says payment of alleged amount a matter of debate. So viewers, there is work to be done. The ED says it's going to be able to dig out all these facts. Its questioning of Mr. Kejriwal will bring it closer to answering some of these questions convincingly before the court to build its case. Let's open this up. Has AAP's vendetta defense been dented, viewers? Kejriwal has been asked to show up on the 2nd of November. Will he, in fact? And if he isn't, why is he going to hesitate to answer the ED's questions? Does he have anything to hide? All of those questions we're going to pose tonight, viewers. This debate brought to you by moto. Let's open this up, viewers. There are questions to be asked, and we have a full panel tonight. People who are very informed and people who've been examining these issues for a while now. Now, I want to begin first with Dr. Ranganathan, because Dr. Ranganathan, I know that you have a very balanced view, and I appreciate that on this particular show. Many questions are being asked about the ED, as we know, but you have been able to take a holistic view. So I'm asking you a very specific question. Has the story after the Supreme Court's order moved on from just being an allegation to a more quantitative, perhaps directed accusation? It's moved beyond the substantive nature of what many people had said this case was, to a more, as I said, matter of 338 crores, pointed transaction.
Good evening, Rahul. You're absolutely right. I think people have finally realized that the charges are very serious, that this is none other than the Supreme Court denying the bail. And, people have been over the past many years criticizing the Supreme Court, sometimes rationally, logically, sometimes justifiably so. In this case, there are two issues. One, people forget that while, yes, the conviction rate of ED overall, as the data goes, is 0.5%, but in the PMLA cases, which this is one, the conviction rate is very high. So that goes against Mr. Sisodia to begin with. Secondly, I think personally, although of course the man is innocent until proven guilty, that the Supreme Court has also denied bail. In my opinion, I think this is an open and shut case. As I see it, there are two issues here, and let me delve into them one by one because both are very important. Number one, the issue of Mr. Sisodia, or specifically the alleged corruption and mismanagement because of the liquor policy under the watchful gaze of Mr. Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh, and can I also say under the watchful gaze of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, because if you accuse the Congress of committing the Bofors scam and Quattrochi being responsible, how is it possible that Mr. Rajiv Gandhi did not know anything about it? So anyway, let me give you the facts, just the facts on the charges relating to the excise policy that, by the way, our government suddenly reversed. Supreme Court order clearly mentions there was conspiracy on drafting new excise policy. It was meant to help those who gave kickbacks and bribes. Why would Supreme Court say this? On its own whims and fancies? It also said there is offense under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. It is made out, supported by material evidence. Now that material evidence obviously was supplied by the ED. VAT was reduced to 1%. Why? 7% excess commission was given amounting to 338 crore loss to the exchequer. Why? AAP forced a company to give up its 20% market share in favor of another company. Why? Rahul, there is also prima facie violations of GNNCD Act 1991, Transaction of Business Rules 1993, Delhi Excise Act 2009, and Delhi Excise Rules 2010. Worse, there was financial quid pro quo at the top political level wherein major decisions in violation of the statutory provisions were taken. There were also, and I quote here, quote, deliberate and gross procedural lapses to provide post-tender undue benefits to liquor licensees. Number two, is it not a fact that the person who is now singing like a canary is the approver and was a close friend and confidant of Mr. Manish Sisodia? This is not Amit Shah or Narendra Modi, publishing all these charges and alleging all the corruption. Number two, and this is important, for all those who are saying that this is ED, I want to ask a simple question. Did Aam Aadmi Party not arrest a Congress MLA 3 weeks ago on a case that the Supreme Court had itself squashed? And the Congress MLA was arrested based on investigations carried out by the same ED. There, AAP said, let law take its course. So, Aam Aadmi Party is that Alcatraz from where logic managed to escape and swim to the safety in the dead of the night.
I'm so glad, Dr. Ranganathan, that you actually brought up the last point. You see, there are 2 points where no one can take offense what Dr. Ranganathan has said, because there are absolute facts. Others you could say are, claims that have been made by this approver or that approver. Fine, you can say that, look, the guy was arm twisted or whatever. But there are 2 absolute truths here. Number one, that 338 crores were the gross profits that accrued to some private entities. That money could have been saved, because how was it made, viewers? By increasing the excise fees. Can you imagine? From 5 to 12%. That margin could have been given to someone like Dr. Raman. If he was someone who liked Old Monk or whatever, or other panelists here who might want to have a drink, why wouldn't you want to drink cheaper than actually at 7, 8, 9% markups? Think about it, viewers. The aim of every policy at the end of the day is to benefit the consumer, the Aam Aadmi, not really the people who are producing the liquor, distributing the liquor, and then, Anyhow, that's one point. So that needs to be explained, and Dr. Raman, please have that answer ready. I'm going to come to you for that. The second point that I want to make, and I think Dr. Ranganathan really hit the nail on the head. The AAP says ED is a cage parrot, but can you explain why does the AAP back the agencies when they go after, and I'm using this term, go after, because that's what everyone says happens. They go after people, you see. They don't investigate, they go after. They go after leaders in TMC and Congress in Bengal and Punjab. Then they say, fantastic, good job, these people are the repositories of corruption, the Congress and the TMC. Then suddenly the agencies become holier than thou. So, Dr. Raman, these two facts, which are indisputable, can you respond to them? I want to understand. Policy is framed, it ends up benefiting not the consumer, but it ends up benefiting the liquor distributors. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Rahul, first of all, for the record, I was told that this debate was going to be about Snoopgate and the Apple controversy, but never mind. Since
you can make it about that. It's fine. Generally, I expect people not to answer my question.
The guest coordinators informed me that way. But let me come to this topic, because I know this topic well and I have covered it on multiple debates. Now, the second question, I agree entirely with you. The way Aam Aadmi Party has gone after Congress MLAs, though an MLA who in fact has been cleared by the Supreme Court, is completely unacceptable. There is nothing to defend on those areas. Let's come back to this issue. Now, this order of the court, some of the comments are very worrying, because if the 338 crore, which is the profit made as a result of a policy decision, is to be treated as proceeds of crime, then it is a very scary situation, because virtually every policy decision that a government takes, there will be profits made by private contractors. Now, unless money has gone to individuals, so money has gone to Manish Sisodia, money has gone to Arvind Kejriwal, unless that is established, if you are saying that 338 crore is the money that was made as profits as a result of a policy decision taken by the Delhi government, the policy decision may have been right, the policy decision may have been wrong, it may have been reversed later. But that in itself is not a proceed of crime. Unless money was transferred or paid to these people. And until this hearing itself, this 338 crore was never discussed as proceeds of crime. So, I mean, it's anyway, we can't say anything because the matter is still in court. Let the final order, let the trial happen. 6 months' time, the court has said that the trial must be completed. Let the trial happen. At the end of the day, we will see what comes out. But some of these observations, quite frankly, are worrying, because they have larger implications. Tomorrow, any government will hesitate.
That same logic is never applied to one Mr. Adani or other big business houses. There, we get very angsty when they make profits, when their profits grow.
Exactly. Rahul, exactly. You're actually speaking exactly the point.
I'm actually saying that when the Congress makes that point, you sit here, Dr. Raman, and say, yes, it's a valid point. Now you are arousing suspicions about a socialist mindset. I don't understand.
I'm sorry. Unless it is proven prima facie. Like, for instance, the issue of the
I understand that.
Port,
no, you're right.
Which was made out.
You're right.
Market price is X.
You're right.
If something was given at 10X, then
my
the question
point
arises.
is, let's come back to the point. I didn't want to take anyone. I just don't understand. you know, I don't know, maybe you believe in free lunches. I don't. I don't think there's something called a free lunch in politics. Dr. Ranganathan, you want to quickly come in? Yes, and I want to bring in RP
It
Singh.
is very possible
Very
that
quick.
these people may have donated to the party. By that same token, every single political party will have to be held accountable for whatever donations they receive.
No. You
Absolutely.
see, these now you're muddying the waters.
No,
I'll bring in
Did
RP Singh
Mr.
to answer that
Sisodia
question. One
or
second.
Mr. Kejriwal receive any money is the question.
Yeah, that is a question.
Yes.
I'm saying that is a question. Yes.
Exactly.
Doctor.
Very sorry.
Doctor,
Very sorry.
yeah, one second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Ranganathan.
Just wanted to throw in my bit, because I've heard many a time my good friend Dr. Sumant Raman bring forth this argument that where is the money trail? I am sure he must have heard the phrase cash and kind. There is something called kind as well. Now, in a parallel case that is going on that Rahul has also deliberated upon, MP allegedly took cash for questions, but there was no cash there. Was there?
No, she has denied it.
The bribe had no
She
1
has
second. Suppose-
categorically
No, are you
denied
saying,
it and
Dr. Ranganathan, are you
Completely
saying that Mr. Kejriwal got a Gucci bag and some heels, Ferragamo heels,
He
uppity, clippity clop,
He
Ferragamo
certainly needs
heels?
a good shirt, in my opinion. But I just want to say this. I want to
That's
say
wicked.
this. What if the bribe was in the form of shoes, Ferragamo shoes or iPhones? There is no money trail there. So please, can we just get that thing out of the way? There need not always be a money
So
trail.
an
I just want to
MP,
clarify.
according to you, an MP accepting a pair of shoes is being bribed? Wow.
Well,
I
depends,
think we
sir.
should- then we
Depends.
should have-
Depends.
then
Now,
we
come
should have-
on, sir.
No,
Do you
one
know
second,
there was a
one
lady
second.
called
Then I think-
Corazon
then I think-
Aquino?
No,
Do you
one
know about
second.
Corazon
Then I think
Aquino?
we should apply it across the board.
No,
We should
please. Now,
apply it to
let's
all
not.
MPs.
No, hang on.
We
You
should
see,
apply it to all
viewers,
MPs.
I'll
Only
tell
say-
you, we have dropped our standards so much in this country. Can you believe it? That if someone pays somebody or takes them for a junket, it's not considered anymore a bribe. Can you believe it, viewers? I would love to be taken on junkets by various political
I'm only
parties.
saying the same
You see,
rules should apply to
I would
all
like
MPs.
to stay in the Excelsior Hotel. I would like to stay in God knows what else is Savoy or whatever else it is in London and so on and so forth. I'm sure Dr. Ranganathan, for the medical research you do, you would love a couple of jaunts around the world from Cipla and who else, God alone knows who else, Roche or whatever other companies.
Just 1 kilo Mysore Pak is enough.
Dekho, 1 kilo Mysore
are-
Pak is enough. He really sets the bar high. Okay, let me bring in RP Singh. RP Singh, this is a fundamental question that Dr. Raman is raising. Where is the money? Show him the money. Where is the money?
I'll show the money. Well, I'll just describe you the money. But Dr. Ranganathan has given elaborate detail on the processes and how processes violated. Now, only question is that where is the money? The gentleman named Rajendra Solanki, who contested the MLA election from Bardoloi in Gujarat, he was caught with his team member red-handed, giving money, bribing money to the voters, and then a huge cash of amount which was caught with red-handed. When confronted, he said, "This guy is not my driver. He's an Aam Aadmi Party worker who has been assigned by Delhi team to handle the money part." This was just one. There were many more like this who were caught, and then there's an income tax inquiry and already on that gentleman. And then that money, he said, comes from Delhi. And this is on record. If you want me to tell you the date, this was 14th October 2022 in Gujarat election. This happened. Okay, I'll give you another example now. I mean, you were talking about kind. I mean, I'm sorry, one of the bags which that lady had cost something like 2,28,000 rupees. I mean, Mr. Raman,
Yes,
if
sir.
that is a gift,
Yes,
God
sir.
bless. I mean, ask.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Huh?
sir. Now, let me.
No, let
first
me
of all,
tell you.
2,20,000
No, one second. I just want to make it very
Handbag.
clear here. 1 second, gentlemen, just 1 second. One second. Let's not trivialize this. Viewers, let me tell you that all employees, all journalists are bound.
Let me give the answer to the,
just 1 second.
Let me come to the debate.
All journalists, for
Rahul.
example, sun lijiye, RP Singh ji, this is an important point of clarification. All journalists are bound by a clause in their contract, at least I am, that you cannot accept any kind without declaring it to the company. And if it is above a value of 500 rupees, you have to give it to the company. In fact, let me tell you, viewers, and this is a policy in government, and RP Singh will know, you cannot, even the Prime Minister cannot accept gifts that are given from ex-Prime Minister or other visiting heads of state He has to declare it and give it to the Tosha Khana. So let's not trivialize this. This is shocking that today we are saying, oh, you know, a couple of bags here and there, it doesn't matter, it has to be cash, it can't be kind, this, that. Yeah, maybe under PMLA, and I'm not certain about the rules. Maybe it only comes down to cash, I don't know. After all, it's called the Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
Okay.
But money can be laundered in many ways, viewers. You can park money and give somebody an expensive car which they can sell, or they can give them a house which they can sell, or land which they can sell. So, kind remains very much currency. I just want to put that down. Yes, RP Singh.
Okay, let me take it further. Now, the gentleman named Vivek Tyagi and the company named Aralia Hospitality. Vivek Tyagi happens to be the parliamentary secretary of Mr. Sanjay Singh. He has no background in hospitality business. He was given 20% share in one of the companies of the accused of the liquor scam. Now, I don't know what will be the value of the company, how much the 20% will come to, but that is the truth. So, as for money part, Mr. Ranganathan and my
okay,
friend...
but explain this to me. But one second. RP Singh, explain this to me.
Another second.
Because the Supreme Court has... One second, Dr. Raman, don't speak over other people. I'm just confronting some facts. Excuse me. Supreme Court said, it may be difficult to regard the alleged payment as proceed of crime, which is 2.2 crore paid to Sisodia allegedly by Amit Arora via middleman Dinesh Arora. This is what the ED has claimed. Why would the Supreme Court be saying this if it was so easy to establish the linkages?
Well, I'm not the investigating agency, but let's wait for the final conclusion and further investigation is happening.
Okay,
and
so let me ask.
The complete investigation
Okay,
happen.
let me ask Dr. Muni.
Give me another second. Give me another second,
One
please.
second. Okay.
Another second, please. Another second.
Yes,
request. Another request.
Yes, sir. Yes. 1 second.
The gentleman named Vijay, third ingo between his name is Vijay Nair. Oh, you, Mr. Ranganathan explained. You also explained about Vijay Nair a lot, but you missed on one part. Vijay Nair was allotted official bungalow of Mr. Kailash Gehlot, the minister in the government. Mr. Gehlot was not staying in his bungalow. It was Vijay Nair who was the occupier of the bungalow, only to ensure that the people who come to make deals with Mr. Vijay Nair should understand the importance of Mr. Vijay Nair.
Right, now hang on. Let's not, you see, that man is not here to defend himself. He's not here to defend himself. These are allegations. Now, one second. I want to bring in Akash. No, one second. No fact. One second. Sir, please. No, 1 second. You see, Dr. Ranganathan is holding up a bag. Now, viewers, you should never judge a bag by its cover.
Rahul, this is 59 lakhs.
This is 59
just for the
lakhs.
information of Dr. Kamala.
Yeah. It's a Hermes bag, which was apparently given to somebody recently. How do you find all these things, Dr. Ranganathan? It's quite a miracle, actually. I wonder what was in that bag. You see, it's the contents of the bag that matter more than the bag. Anyhow, let me bring in Dr. Muni. We're having some fun, Dr. Muni, but I can say it's not at your expense or the AAP's expense. I'm just generally talking about the trivialization of incentives given in kind. But I have a very specific question for you, sir. And I want to ask you, because no one is answering this question. A policy is framed. It is framed by the Aam Aadmi Party that swears that its heart is in its right place, and it is by the Aam Aadmi. But it's not the Aam Aadmi that is benefiting here through this policy which was later withdrawn. It was the fat cats, the private players. ये कैसी आम आदमी पार्टी है सर? ये खास आदमी को benefit दे रही थी. Now, how is this possible? Why would you do it? And are you telling me that there is no quid pro quo here?
Now, Rahulji, I'll just bring some facts into consideration because there are a number of panelists we have here, and my good friend is there, Ranganathan ji, who said he will be bringing out facts. But his statement was full of opinions, not a single fact. Interestingly, let me bring out some facts.
Yeah.
If you have read the court order, the court clearly stated, and I'm quoting, quote unquote, the charge that the appellant Manish Sisodiya is vicariously liable in terms of section 70 of PMLA Act. It cannot be alleged, and has not been argued. Now, let me bring out facts. The interesting factor is that In this particular case, till now, not a single iota of evidence has been proven. The trail that you are talking about, 338 crore, even the ED has not put the 338 crore uh, money trail to Manish Sisodiya. The ED has put 45 crore money trail to Sisodiya. If you have gone through the data,
Yes,
and
sir.
I can read out the data.
But I am not claiming that. So what are you course
No,
correcting
no,
us on?
no,
We will not claim that. We have talked
I'm
about.
claiming that there is
No,
not a
no.
single money trail.
Dr. Muni,
I am
one
claiming
second.
that
Are
there is
you
not a
saying that
single
the
money
Supreme
trail
Court
to
is
Manish
lying?
Sisodiya.
That the Supreme Court is lying when it says, and let me quote it, excuse me, that 14 wholesale liquor distributors earned excess profit of 330 crores in about 10 months. And it went on to say that there was material and evidence which tentatively supported one of the charges under this particular PMLA Act with regard to the alleged liquor scam and this money. Are you saying that this is fiction?
Rahul, do you
That the
know what
Supreme Court... No,
no,
I'm asking you. I asked you a very specific question. You've
I am
taken us
answering
all
a
over.
specific
आप
question.
रायता फैला रहे हैं. मैं आपको
नहीं
सर
मैं
दही के
रायता नहीं,
पास...
आप इधर-उधर
नहीं,
की
मैं
बातें
I'm
कर
bringing
रहे
you
हैं।
back
मैं
to the
आपको बता
dahi.
रहा हूँ।
Don't
आप
spice
मुझे
the
अगर
raita.
30
I'm
सेकंड
asking you a
देंगे
simple
बिना
question.
रुकावट के, मैं
Please.
आपको बताऊंगा कि ना कि यहाँ पे
Dr. Muni, I'm
जो
asking you a
केस चल
question.
रहा था, ये
How
केस
is it that a policy was framed to benefit private players who are actually profiteers and not the public? The wrong P. ये कौन सी public PPP scheme निकाली आपने?
मैं आपको बताता हूँ ये पर्टिकुलर जो केस हम
Okay.
डिस्कस कर रहे हैं आज जिसका जजमेंट हम बात कर रहे हैं
No, we are
वो
not passing any judgment. That's wrong.
एप्लीकेशन
That's wrong.
नो
I'm
नो नो
only
जो
talking about
जजमेंट
the
हम बात कर रहे
338
हैं वो
crore.
बेल एप्लीकेशन है मनीष सिसोदिया का और मनीष सिसोदिया का बेल एप्लीकेशन में कहीं पे भी प्रूव नहीं हो पाया है कि ना कि एक
Sir,
रुपया
why are you
मनीष
making
सिसोदिया
this
को
about
गया है
Manish Sisodia? I'm telling you the
आपने
story
कहा
has
कि
become bigger and it's
नहीं
moved beyond Manish Sisodia.
ये केस सर ये केस मनीष सिसोदिया का है आप थोड़ा सा
In the
गूगल करिए
context
थोड़ा
of
सा
that particular
आपकी रिपोर्ट
case,
देख लीजिए
excuse me,
दिस
Dr.
इज
Muni,
द केस
Dr. Muni,
अरे
one
ये
second.
केस सिसोदिया का
Why are
बेल
you shouting so
था
much, sir? Why are you
बेल
shouting?
लिखा था आप
Why are you
चलिए
shouting?
कोई बात नहीं
Calm
आपका
down.
चैनल
I asked you a simple baseline question. I haven't raised that question. It's the Supreme Court that has raised it. It has pointed out the gross
I am
profits.
saying what the
Those
Supreme Court
same
has said
profits
that
could
there
have
is
been...
not a iota of
Okay,
evidence
okay.
against Manish Sisodia.
ओके सर, आप सिसोदिया की वफादारी कीजिए. हम आम आदमी पार्टी, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी and the policy की बात कर रहे हैं. Anyhow, Dr. Ranganathan, you want to make a quick point? I want to bring in the BRS leader also. Yes.
Just a quick point. I have great respect for my dear friend Akash ji, Dr. Saab. But when he says that I, who gave 9 facts, saying that I worked on opinions, Dr. Saab, please, I didn't expect this from you. So let me now quote verbatim. This is...
Dr. Saab, हुआ है या नहीं हुआ? आपने बोला फूड
आप रीड कीजिए. Dr. Ranganathan, read. Dr. Ranganathan, read. Dr. Muni, 1 second. Let him read, since you made a charge.
This is from the Supreme Court order. However, there is one clear ground of charge in the complaint filed under the PML Act,
Yes,
which is free from perceptible legal challenge, and the facts as alleged are tentatively supported by material and evidence. Uske baad, the difference between 12% minus 5% of the wholesale profit margin, it is submitted, would constitute proceeds of crime, an offence punishable under the PML Act. The proceeds of crime were acquired, used, and were in possession of the wholesale distributors who have unlawfully benefited from the illegal gain. Mahadev Liquor, who was a wholesale distributor for 14 small manufacturers having 20% market share, was forced to surrender the wholesale distributor's license, defined under Section 7 of the POC Act relating to public servant being bribed. Now, these are quotes, Dr. Muni. If you say I'm quoting opinion, then you are in contempt not only
you
of
see,
me, which is all right.
viewers, I'll
but
tell
you
you
are
what
in
is
contempt
happening on this debate. I'll tell you what is happening on this debate. There is an attempt being made. Okay, Dr. Muni, 1 second, please. I'm only talking about what the Supreme Court has said in its order. None of us can go anywhere else with this. The Supreme Court has set the baseline, and I'm telling you why, viewers, we are being led down other rabbit holes, whether Sisodia got X amount of money. I've already told you that that is what the ED has to still prove. I put those graphics out for you. I've been very balanced, viewers. I'm not here to take the ED side. I'm the last person. After having suffered at the hands of the ED in the past when a particular channel I was working for was cheated. But that's a different matter. My point is, viewers, and let's just talk about this. The point is that this entire issue is being deflected away from one basic question. How do you form a policy that basically benefits private entities and not the public? Why would that be the case? Was it because there was some IOU? It's a very simple thing. And I want to bring in Dinesh Chaudhary Saab of the BRS. And thank you, sir, so much for being so patient. I came to you last because it's important that I bring you in. You are brought into this entire matter through the South Lobby gateway. So I want to ask you, sir, now that the Supreme Court is sniffing a 338 crore cash trail, can you continue to claim that this is an Enforcement Directorate witch hunt? Is that vendetta defense now dented? Your view, sir.
Good evening, Rahul.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, we are of a view that corruption shouldn't be tolerated. But let us get some facts straight.
Okay.
ED inquiry is not infallible.
Yeah.
ED has very low conviction rate. Out of the 5,906 cases which have been filed since its inception, only 24 have been convicted. So there is a gray area over there. And again, the main point which everybody has to ultimately go through is, where is the money trail leading to? How has it been delivered? Has any money been seized? Has anyone been caught red-handedly? All of these things, we can say they are about whataboutery or hearsay. But unless until the total issue is concluded and the judgment comes from the Supreme Court, let us not pass judgments. It is very easy to do so. But we have seen in the past, court has been very acribic about the way ED functions. Just on October 5th, Supreme Court has made very scathing remarks on ED and CBI about how their total facts presented won't stand two questions in cross-examining.
Right.
So these sort of things, let the law take its own course.
Sure.
And but the primary question everybody is wondering about today is, Rahulji, if this case, which is on a speed track, is going on very well, if we take on the swiftness with which the inquiry is going on, but everybody keeps on wondering what happens to the case of Narada scam, where Subhendu Adhikari joins BJP and the inquiry totally takes a snail pace. What happens to the case of Himanta Biswa Sharma, who after joining BJP, his case takes a snail pace? What happens to Narayan Rane, who becomes a central minister in BJP, and later on his case is unheard of? What happens to Bhavna Gavli? What happens to other MPs who have joined BJP? Let us take the case from Andhra Pradesh. Let us take the case of Y.S. Chaudhary, where BJP MPs have written to the ethics committee to disqualify them. But after joining BJP, everything is well and rosy. So there are certain questions which needs to be answered, and ED has to prove its conviction.
Okay. So just one thing, Mr. Chaudhary, just one thing. Since you are being so charitable and saying that, look, let the case be proven against these people, then you should also not pass judgment against the Enforcement Directorate. Then let's be absolutely fair. Let's say that let the Enforcement Directorate also prove its case. Let us not judge it. Let us not call it a parrot or whatever. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, before I close the debate, you wanted to make a point.
The pace which cases of BJP leaders are going on.
I understand. Selectivity is a point well made. I understand that.
I hope today the panelists, the three panelists who are at the bottom of the panel, will appreciate that whataboutery is a serious tool to expose the hypocrisy. Whenever there is a case that does not involve the BJP leader and the BJP leaders say that, what about the other thing? The BRS leader, Dr. Muni and Dr. Raman specifically say, don't indulge in whataboutery. Today, all they have done is indulge in whataboutery, starting from Dr. Raman. Saying that we have to
I have not indulged in whataboutery.
Well, viewers, I'll leave it to you.
Where is the money trail?
Okay, where is the money trail? So basically, viewers. Okay, I need to take a short break. Basically, viewers, what some of these panelists are saying is that if you execute the perfect crime, if you take all the money and then obscure the money trail, well, that's your good luck. Viewers, that's another way of looking at this story, and I hope that this is not the case, because that would be then the perfect crime, wouldn't it not? And it would be at the expense of all of us, the Aam Aadmi, the real Aam Aadmi. We come up, viewers, In the next segment, in the wake of the Hamas rally in Malappuram, a top left leader takes direct questions after a quick break. Don't go away.
Hello, Moto.